All right. Oh, now we're recording. Maybe I don't know if you guys caught that Benjamin take by Bryce, but he wants Benjamin back. So
need him this week. Time to step up. We'll see.
All right. Well, Chris decided to miss the last week. I think he's. Oh, you got a. It's an interesting background you got there, Bryce.
Bryce,
In the basement. I'm at my parents' house for the holidays.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Me too.
I like it. Yeah, so we're all here this week. We got Biondi stepping in for Chris. Here to do a great job. Hasn't paid attention to the league for like half the year now.
Who needs it? Number one pick, though.
I like the week when he was starting Desmond Ritter and nobody else, and he wasn't even playing yet.
It was my only QB ahead.
Oh, man. All right, but we are in the championship week, so we're just going to get started. We'll go over the games from last week. Chris disappoints and then is a coward and doesn't show up to face the music. So
boo,
What
Chris.
happened?
What a loser.
Tough week for Chris. Started Derek Carr in his last NFL game ever, so at least he got that in.
You got to blame Josh Jacobs. Fully on Josh Jacobs. Had this really good season.
Yeah, hate to see it. I think he was at 5. That's tough. Not much running back production for him. Disappointing game from Chase too. And then, yeah, I just don't know about this call to start like 5 players from that Oakland-Pittsburgh game. Neither team really scores, so don't think that was a good call in general. Had a nice 33 from Akers off the bench.
Yeah, that hurts. That hurts.
That does hurt.
Not me, but
Can't start. That sucks. I guess you could have.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess you start Najee over
He
him.
just stuck with the guys he started all year, which I feel that.
Yeah.
Was he really starting 4 guys from the Steelers? And
He has a lot of Raiders
year?
and Steelers players.
Yeah, he started Najee, Freiermuth, Jacobs, and Carr last
And then
week.
the Bengals didn't have
Harris.
a big week either.
Oh, you said Najee Harris, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so Chris was very reliant on like 3 teams that didn't really put up points, so that's kind of how he lost here. Not sure if that's something he's going to change going into next year, but on the better side, we had Mr. Trevor coming through, winning by 2 like he usually does.
listen, like I told Chris last week, a win by 1 point is the same as a win by 40. So I'll take it.
Yeah, I think you had some pretty odd point quotes from last week's interviews from what I remember. About pretty boy receivers. We had a disappointing game from Chase. Daniel Jones stepping up big. That was pretty nice. And then, yeah, Kittle's just kind of carried you through the playoffs, I think. So.
I mean, listen, Kittle's been my guy. Gotta love him. So I can't complain about that because tight end's always a hard position to, find valuable points. And hopefully he can come through this week and do the same thing.
Yeah.
And you would have known Brock Purdy would come back and start targeting him, man. Dude's been a waste for years.
Legend.
Purdy.
Yeah. Any regrets on that trade right now, Bryce?
I'm not that worried. It would be tough to put in 3 20-point weeks in a row. I don't know. Let's see. I don't think they have to score too much against the Raiders right now. So it's that.
Hey, watch out for Jarrett Stidham. That's all I could say. All right, I think that kind of covers that game. I think we both picked Chris, so we were both wrong on that one. Then on to the other game where we had a very low-scoring game on that side. On Bryce's side, Tua getting hurt and having no brain left in his head's gotta suck.
It's applesauce, man. His brain is applesauce. That was a brutal fourth quarter. But
yeah, it was tough to watch. Yeah, gotta kind of worry about him moving forward, I guess. Was this 3-4 concussions in a year? It's kind of tough. But
yeah.
Yeah, other than that, disappointing game from Adams. The running backs kind of did what you thought they would. And then
they've been giving me that floor, so that's what saved me, I guess.
Yeah, that kind of saved you here. Obviously, Cam was in rough shape, starting McSorley. Not gonna win a lot of games like that, but yeah, he had Singletary kind of went off, but other than that, his team really didn't do all that much. You got to be pretty encouraged, Bryce, on the Evan Ingram resurgence.
For sure. I just want to mention, if he started Singletary in place of McSorley, I think I still pull out the dub. I ran the numbers, so I think we're good there.
All right. Well, I'll take your word on that.
He can't start Higbee, so what are you going to do?
Yeah, I guess he could have started Higbee at tight end, though, which probably sways the game. But
it's not like Schultz is putting up numbers before that.
Yeah,
I'm not here to bash Mr. Jones. I've been a big fan of him all season.
Yeah, there was a point where I thought Mr. Jones would be on this call, so that would have been interesting to see you two going back and forth. But yeah.
I would have liked that.
But Schultz has been pretty disappointing this year, or as Cam calls him, horsecock. Interesting names. But yeah, I don't know. Higbee hasn't really done much for like the second half, so doubt he was in contention to start anyway. But overall, we picked you to win. I thought you were a pretty big favorite to win. And even on a bad game, you still won. So made a lot of sense. Two people that lost were Chris and Cam. They're eliminated now. I guess we could just kind of jump into the interviews unless anyone else has something to say about that game.
I just want to say tough for my guy Cam. It's always in the thick of it in the playoffs, just can't quite come through.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I said this in the chat. He booted Sarouge twice before this out of the playoffs. So I mean, just needed some new management, a little direction. That's all.
I would also like to point out the fact that this is now the second year in a row that I have beaten Chris in the playoffs, and I believe he is now 1-4 against me. So tough road for Chris.
Yeah. So
you're the kryptonite of Chris.
I'm the kryptonite.
Not bad.
Yeah. I think we could keep on that topic because now that Chris isn't here, we could really bash him hard. I think he'd really appreciate that, and that's what he gets for not showing up. So we could keep on that. So I don't know. I guess we will interview Taint first. I did send you the questions, just full disclosure for everyone.
Yeah, I glanced over them. They were pretty much the same as previous weeks.
Oh, here are the questions. I see them.
Yeah. All right. So basically, you had a big win last week, but points weren't quite there. So just asking what your team to do better next week.
I mean, we talked about it before, but Tua is not throwing 3 interceptions next week. Whether that's because he's on the bench or because he's on my fantasy bench, it doesn't matter. You know, he's not playing. So I think without that, I'm fine. Things haven't gone very good this week, but I think I'm fine.
All right. And you predicted this last week. So I guess what did you see in Trevor's team and Chris's team that made you think this was going to be your matchup?
You said stealing all my answers before, but he started 6 people in 2 games, 4 of them in the same game. And the Steelers, I mean, I haven't been keeping track too much, but the defense hasn't been atrocious. So, I mean, that was just a real dangerous one, and it hit him hard.
Yeah, not sure about the decision making there. Obviously,
I mean, I was looking at it. It didn't seem like he had much of a choice. Like, I don't think any of his other guys were like, you're not starting Cam Akers, so
yeah,
gonna do.
yeah, not like he had much on the bench there. That was startable at least. But
maybe Chris should probably look in and getting some depth next year. You know, Derrick Henry gets pulled. You know, you got Aaron Jones to throw in there, dude. That's how it goes. So.
I like it. All right. Trevor's team actually scored more points than you last week. Are you worried moving into this week?
I'm pretty sure Trevor's team scored more points than me the last 2 weeks, for the record. And I would say, yes, I am very worried. Part of that is Michael White's back, so Garrett Wilson going to have more than 3. I got him in another league, so, I mean, I'm all for it, but it's just going to hurt. Yeah, other than that, it's whether or not Daniel Jones has the ball to try and take revenge. And I don't know, man. I don't think he's got to score much versus Nick Foles in the Colts. So we'll see. He's put up a pretty good floor most of the year. So I don't know. A few guys. Waddle, Teddy Bridgewater. Matchups it doesn't feel great for Tim McGee. Doesn't feel great over there, but it's not great on my side either, so got to be a little bit.
All right.
Some trash talk right there.
Oh yeah, I love it.
I'm sure we'll get some trash talk on Trevor's side. So, but moving forward, I actually wrote this Tua question before the concussion stuff, so I don't know if it's even worth bringing up. But and we've kind of talked about it already. But yeah,
Tua wasn't starting. No matter. I don't care about this concussion news. Like, I mean, if that explains the interceptions, that explains it. He wasn't starting this week, no matter what, man. He's playing. He'd be playing in New England. Fucking, it's not happening. He's out. And I've got a lot of respect for him, but he's out.
All right.
Rest it for next year.
Yeah.
Gotta rest the brain up. Yeah. I guess I also wrote this Devontae question. How are you feeling about Devontae? Stidham starting. It's been kind of not great the last few weeks in a row.
Yeah.
What's the temperature?
I mean, he can't do worse than he's been doing. To be honest, I was really looking at benching him, but then with the Derrick Henry thing happening and Tua, I mean, it's just nothing I can do, you know. Got to put him in the flex.
Yeah, definitely tough having Derrick Henry take a rest this week. Can't say you probably expected that going into the week, so kind of a tough break. But
I mean, he's not the only one. It's like all my running backs are banged up. Aaron Jones took not many snaps last week. Kamara, I don't know. He's missed 2 days of practice. No word on what the fuck that's about. So, I mean, he might not even play. I don't know. Jeff Wilson, you're off.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Kind of rough, the way these playoffs have gone for everyone. All these teams scored like 115 a week, and no one's really put up points in the playoffs. But yeah, I guess the only thing left to talk about is how you're feeling about Trevor's team. Where do you think you have the advantage in this matchup? Where do you think he might have the advantage, or where it may be even?
I think in terms of the quarterbacks, with Tua and Lamar out, he's got to have the advantage. But Huntley may feel slighted that he was dropped at one point during this season. He may feel slighted, and it might be the motivation for him to put up one of those 30-point games. But Obviously, I'm not high on Kittle. The dude puts up 3 points a week for like half the year, and then has a 20-point game, and everybody's like, "Oh shit, it's fucking Kittle." Yeah, well, Tyler Higbee did the same thing last week. So what are we talking about? I think it's a lot of value in the name that hasn't been appearing, but I mean, can't knock him for the last 2 weeks. So there's that. Wide receivers, I mean, I'm just rolling so deep right now. Like I said, Teddy Bridgewater throwing to Waddle in fucking New England. Better make it happen. I don't know, man. We'll see. And all my running backs are fucking banged up. So what are you going to do?
All right. Time to give your score prediction.
Yeah, I didn't think about this. I think it's going to be another low-scoring one. I'll call it 110 me, 109 Trevor. Easy.
1 point game. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all the questions I have. But congrats on taking Sarush's team and making it all the way to the last game and making money this year.
Yeah, I got to see what would have happened if I held on to all of his guys and didn't trade for anybody. I'm curious what the results would have been.
All right. On to Trevor's interview. I don't know if you want to read the questions beyond you or I can. Just let me know.
That's all you did. I know you like doing it.
Do I? All right. So, Trevor, big win last week against your arch rival. Like you said, you're 1-4, so maybe this isn't quite a rivalry anymore. But in your opinion, what gave you the edge last week?
Well, I got to say this. I wouldn't even call it a rivalry, just like you said, because this man, Chris, cannot beat me. He got lucky one time this year, and that's because my guys didn't show up. But when it counts, this man gets kicked out of the playoffs every year. And I got to say, I love my guys for that because it's another 365 days that I can call them up on the phone, text him, send him a Snapchat, get him on Instagram, even message him on Facebook and say, I beat you in the playoffs. So, as you can tell, I'm very happy about that. But no, I wouldn't call it a rivalry anymore because this man just talks nonsense. I was busy this week, and he was all happy because the prediction was 120 to 88. And me, I'm working on my stuff, and I got to see this nonsense come out of his mouth. And what do you know? What do you know?
Yeah.
And I do appreciate the meme that was sent moments before disaster, and Chris's little comment. I appreciate that meme.
Yeah. Another tough one for Chris. Yeah, tough year. What can you say other than that? All right. What were your thoughts on Taint's performance? Well, you could actually call him Bryce because that's his name. Also, Mitch, just so you know, this is Bryce or Taint. I know you thought Taint was me the whole year for some reason.
No, it's pre-recorded. That's me in a mask over there, actually.
I actually thought about wearing a fucking one of those face masks. You wouldn't see me, just keep the mystery alive.
I like it.
Well, so here's the deal. I think he got screwed by Tua, who, as we all said, has mashed potatoes in his head by now. That man, by next year, I don't even know if he should be on an NFL field because he seems to have some serious damage going on there. And the other big thing, I mean, I know he pulled out the win, but Adams at 2.5 points, that is a outlier. You're not going to see that by Adams every week. And I think that's what has me the most nervous is that man is going to go off because, he's one of the best receivers in the league. So I think those two things combined, I mean, the rest of his team pretty much played well. I mean, St. Brown played a little under what his projection was, but, it still gave 11 points. And I mean, Aaron Jones is a hit or miss. He'll fall in the end zone 3 times or won't fall in the end zone at all. So, but I really think the Adams and Tua was the biggest contributors to not having 120 points this week, or last week, I should say.
All right. Like we kind of talked about before, but Kittle's kind of been a godsend for you in these playoffs. Debo's coming back this week. Any worries the targets go down for him?
Not at all. No. I know back in week 4 or 5 when I made that trade and we had our discussion in the front office that he would step up when we needed him the most. And he has done exactly that. That's why he gets paid the big bucks. Do I think he's going to have 27 points? No. I think he's going to have 35 points, and he's going to send us over the edge. That is why I traded for that man. And he's been, listen, he had to get his feet wet. All right. You know, you're on a new team. You're in a new system. You know, sometimes you're not going to score 15, 20 points, but he's getting hot, and we're gonna ride him through to the championship.
All right. I like it. Yeah, I'm glad he's adjusted to your system that you're running over there.
Listen, we got to build a culture. That's what we're doing over here at Team McGee. We're building a culture. So now that he's finally bought in, and you know we're not dealing with the nonsense, he got a little bit of a haircut. We told him, you know, got to keep it nice, but you know, he's bought into the system.
All right, I like it. Feel like your QBs have been up and down throughout the year. Hurts was practicing today, but if he's out, is Minshew playing for you, or where are you going?
That's a game time decision. Right now, he's not playing for me, but I'm a strong believer that Gardner Minshew is a starting NFL quarterback, and we saw that last week with 25 points. And you know, that's I think next year he's going to find himself in a good position somewhere, and he'll be a good backup. But that remains to be seen. Rodgers isn't putting up the 25, 30 points that we saw last year in his MVP season, but he's serviceable, and that's all I need right now. He's serviceable because Daniel Jones, I believe, is going to live up to his predictions. Aaron Rodgers is going to live up to his predictions as long as they don't kill me. I know my man Garrett Wilson is going to go off for 50, and we'll be good. So I just need my QBs to be serviceable.
All right. Beyond, maybe we should start Garrett Wilson.
We're not starting Garrett Wilson. He sucks. Nah, he's good, but I just don't think not this week.
All right. Running back's kind of been a weak point for you this year, Trevor. But looking the way they're playing right now, if Fournette is playing like he did last week, do you think he may have the advantage there this week?
So I don't know if I'm going to say advantage. I mean, Kamara has the potential to go off for 50 at any given moment. Like I said, Aaron Jones can fall into the end zone 2 or 3 times in a game. But what I will say is that Stevenson is going to have a bounce back week. You know, he's playing Miami. They don't want to play in the cold. They don't like it. They're all pretty boys down there. Even my man Jalen Waddle, but he's a more pretty boy than Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. Just throwing out that for Chris because he whooped his ass last week. Anyway, like I'm saying, Stevenson's going to have a good game. I'm playing Fournette because I trust him, and Tampa Bay still has to play. They're not locked into the playoffs. They got to have a good game this week. And Latavius Murray, I love him, but he was a scrub last week, so.
Kick to the side.
Kick to the side.
How are you feeling about your receivers matchups? I looked through briefly, and they're looking like they're going up against some of the better defenses. Any thoughts of putting in Latavius? Doesn't seem like it, but.
No, you got to play to win. And I learned my lesson a couple of weeks ago when I tried to play it safe, and I got maybe 8 or 9 points from a running back, and all of my wide receivers had about 25 points on the bench. It's all or nothing now. I'm going to win or I'm going to lose on my receivers. If my guys go for 25 each, then we're going to win. If they go for 3 each, then we're going to lose. But you know what? You got to play to win. You can't play it safe in the championship game.
All right. That's what we like to hear. And how are you feeling about your matchup this week? Where do you think you have the advantage? Where do you think your team may be vulnerable?
I like the matchup. I like the matchup very much. I'm not going to say I'm happy to hear that players aren't playing, but I'm happy to hear that players aren't playing, and it makes my job a little bit easier. But with that said, this is fantasy football. Anything could happen at any time. Ingram has been going off. Keenan Allen has a potential, to catch a couple of touchdowns. Like I said, I'm very scared of Adams. I'll be watching that game very closely because if that man goes for like 150 and 2 touchdowns, then I think that might be game, set, match. But if that man goes for even 10 points, I think we're in it. So I think running back is my weakest point. I think that's where Bryce has the advantage. On paper, I think his wide receivers have the advantage, but in my heart and with my team's faith in what we're going to do, my wide receivers have the advantage, and they're going to take it home for us, especially my boy Garrett Wilson. That's why I'm wearing this green. I ate a couple of Airheads before, and my tongue's green. Let's go Jets. Jets, Jets.
All right. Yeah, it's all about the system.
It's all about the system.
All right, score prediction. What do we got?
110 to 109. Team McGee.
The same prediction. I love it, dude.
All right, so we got 2 close predictions.
That's right. 1 point.
Yeah.
I love it. All right.
Not much else there. All right. Well, good luck to both of you guys. I don't know. I guess you guys could stay on if you want or leave. We're just gonna go over the games ourselves, but whatever you want to do.
I'll listen. Am I allowed to talk or no? Because if I'm not allowed to talk, I might get myself in trouble. So I might just leave. I might save you guys the annoyance.
You're allowed to talk. No problem. All right. Well, we'll go over the championship first. I guess we'll cover the 3rd place game as well. Might as well. But yeah. All right. So on to this game. I don't know. Biondi, you haven't talked, so you could lead us off.
I have nothing. I don't really know why I'm here, honestly.
All right. So I'll lead off then. All right. Going through the QBs quickly, we'll start there. Minnesota's a pretty weak matchup for Rodgers. I think Seattle's also a relatively weak matchup, so both QB2s are looking pretty good right now. And then QB1 wise, I actually am a little scared on the Jones side. Just could see them kind of running the whole game out with Saquon and not really having to use him much. So a little scared on that side. Similar things.
Yeah, I think they'll need something early from Jones or, well, I don't know. I mean, the Colts could be a tough matchup for the Giants anyway, so it might be a game. I don't know. But you might be right about that.
Yeah. The Huntley pick, I think, I don't know if Lamar has a chance to play or not, but I think Huntley will probably end up playing. He's been really good he was pretty good last year, but he hasn't been quite as good this year, so not sure. They don't really have a lot of weapons over there, so maybe that's relatively even. Overall, I think I'd lean towards Trevor's quarterbacks over Taint's this week.
I think so.
Yeah. Moving on to the running backs. Pretty tough matchup for Fournette. Not sure he quite does what he did last week. Got to think Kamara is the best running back out of the group right now. So I definitely, and I don't know, the Ramondre, Aaron Jones, they're kind of even for me. I think they could both hit or miss. So I think you got to lean with Mr. Taint on that side. Moving on, I guess. Receiver wise, I'm looking at it. On paper, you're definitely going with Taint side. Noah Monroe's had a couple, not terrible weeks, but not great weeks in a row. So maybe he's due for a touchdown or something that pushes him over the ledge. And he gets Chicago, which is always nice. Yeah, the Waddle and New England thing scares me a little bit. He's been great the last 2 weeks, and he's awesome. But just New England is always a little bit scary. I think Garrett Wilson probably goes off against Seattle, although Tariq Woolen's pretty nasty, so maybe not. But I'd still think Garrett Wilson finds a way. They're able to scheme up against coverage pretty well. And then Devontae Adams, I think he's projected just a little too high this week with Stidham starting against San Francisco. I think the Superflex is relatively even. Both of them are starting wide receivers. So that's kind of how I'm seeing it.
The Adams thing is tough because he might just do nothing and they might not pass really. But if I'm Stidham, I'm just throwing it to Adams every play, basically. So if that's what happens, that would be good for Taint. So
Yeah.
That's what Carr's been doing. He just missed him every time. And they got chemistry, supposedly.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame receiver, quarterback.
Yeah. You know, they had that famous quote before the year about when you're going from one Hall of Fame quarterback to another Hall of Fame quarterback.
Adams said that, right?
Yeah. Didn't turn out to work that way. And then I guess just again in the tight end spot, it's relatively even. Kittle obviously was expected to be a lot better than Ingram before the year. Ingram's really had an awesome year, so thanks. Still hate him because he sucked for us, but
Still trash.
Yeah.
I'd like to say I made the Ingram trade just for fab dollars to pick up Sam Ellinger because he's who I believed in. I almost dropped Ingram like 4 times, and I think the only reason I didn't was just because I didn't want to be the guy that dropped him when I just gave a 3rd round pickup for him. So I didn't want to lose that for nothing. So I held him up.
Smart.
All right. Well, it worked out for you either way. Yeah, I think he's kind of a clear start. I know Njoku's been decent this year, but I don't know. Seems pretty easy to start Ingram every week at this point.
Deshaun needs to step up. It's killing me.
Yeah. Tough, man. All right. I guess that we've kind of run through it at this point. So I guess I'll give my prediction first since I kind of ran through it. Yeah, just got to roll with Taint. Just more talent overall. I think the quarterbacks definitely lean Trevor's way, but everywhere else kind of it's tough matchups for him, and he has tough matchups for the actual players as well. So just got to lean Taint, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's a close matchup too. I don't think the projection is indicative of the matchup, but I also think I'm going to go Taint just for the storyline of Sarush leaving and his team winning the championship. I think we'll have to hang that one up in the rafters for sure.
Yeah, pretty easy to troll him.
Yep. That will be
all
good.
Right. So I guess we're both picking against Trevor this week.
Yep.
Common
Listen.
occurrence throughout the year, though.
You've done it all year, and look what happened. So you know what?
The underdog story.
Yeah. Feels like we actually have an underdog story in this league every year. I don't think the best team really has ever won this league, so should be interesting.
Wait, you said earlier Lamb Chop was leaving, so he won last year and he's just cashing out, moving along.
Well, I don't know.
Nah, I don't know what the Lamb Chop situation is. I'm letting Penn State side deal with all that crap. But yeah, so all right, well that covers that game. I guess we'll run through the third place game quickly just since it's still for money. Right now Dak's playing like hot garbage. He's got 2 picks and a fumble. So I guess that's the current situation. Tough for him. They're still winning 17-6 though. But overall, looking through the rosters, quarterbacks relatively even. I don't think Hurts actually plays, so I imagine this is Darnold versus Wentz. So that's kind of even at QB2, wide receiver wise. Chase and Jefferson, gotta give the advantage there, even though, as Trevor says, they're pretty boys. Tight ends, I guess you give the advantage to Cam, since his tight end already scored a touchdown. And then, yeah, flex, I'm giving the Cam. He's got Diggs versus Najee. That seems
clear. Diggs in the flex. I don't know. I think Kirk should be in there now.
Yeah, I mean, fake flex, but the way he has his lineup set, that's how it is. And then running backs pretty clearly go to, of course, even though they didn't play well last week. Actually, they have pretty bad matchups. I guess it could go either way, but he's still leading Chris just by the way they've played all year. But I'll project Cam to win. Just think that some of his guys are missing some touchdowns, so maybe they come through this week. But I guess that'd be an upset. What was that?
I said quota theory.
Quota theory.
Yeah.
Comes through always.
They're due for some touchdowns. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Chris. His team is just freaking stacked. I don't know how he lost in the playoffs. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's karma. Karma. That's how he lost.
Yeah. His team is too good, they'll probably just always choke, and he'll never win the league. Chris was my preseason pick to win the league, I think.
Yeah. He was clearly winning until he started talking shit to Trevor in the league chat, so.
He was projected to win by 40 points.
Fantasy gods know they won't let you win if you're not kind to your opponents.
All right. I guess, do you guys have any comments about what we said? Otherwise, we could just end this.
Listen, I want to make a motion to install a last place punishment, because I just watched the video and it was pretty funny.
I'll take the punishment.
Not this year, but next year.
Points? I think it should be based off record, though. Do I have the worst record?
No. I think Big T has the worst record.
Yeah, we'll make the pick off of points, but last place off of record.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, yeah.
Last place punishment. That's my motion for next year.
That would be funny.
I like that. We could definitely brainstorm a punishment.
Yeah,
it's pretty hard because like the Penn State side of the league, at least, is like all over the country. So
yeah, it should have to be something where like you film yourself doing whatever.
Yeah, but yeah, it's been a fun year. I think both teams that made the finals have a fun story. Bryce coming in the middle of the year, so that's kind of nice. Doesn't have to pay anything his first year because he made the money, and then Trevor, the underdog story of the year. I think you had like 200 less points than me in the regular season, and somehow still made the playoffs. So
for the first 3 weeks, I was trying to tank and get the first pick this year. I had like 9 draft picks at one point.
I remember. All right. Well, thanks for coming on, guys. I guess that's it. Sup, Leo?
All right.
That's not Leo.
Toby.
Toby, what's up? Hey, Bryce, man, best of luck.
Best of luck to
I'll
you.
see you on the other side.
Yeah, see ya.